Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. When I last left you guys, we had just finished up Chapter 3, and now we're moving on to Chapter 4, Ancient Horrors. And as I mentioned previously, this is a technically a non-linear world map exploration style of Fire Emblem, but it's not strictly true. Like, there's not really a whole lot of other places I can go. That being said, we have quite a bit we need to organize real quick because I picked up a lot of stuff in the last episode. So what I'm going to do is what I usually do and just kind of empty everybody out and give them just what they need here. So we'll let Erica have her trusty rapier and an iron sword, because why not? Franz can have kind of the same kit here. Give him a javelin for good measure, because why the heck not? I don't think I have any beefy lances I can give Gilliam just yet. He's not quite good enough to use the silver ones, so I guess he's just sticking with iron for the time being. We'll give him a javelin too. I've got a lot of lance users I'm noticing here, and I think that's a slight problem early on in the game, is that you have a great deal of people using the same kind of weapons. So, for example, I've got Seth, Franz, Vanessa, Gilliam, they all can use lances. And that's, 4 out of my 10-person roster. I've got only 2 that can use axes, only 1 that can use a bow. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that use swords too, I guess. Although Calm's definitely not what I would call a combat unit. And everybody is mono weapon type except for Franz and Seth, which, that's not that big a deal. Cavaliers are kind of ridiculous in the Game Boy Advance games. They're actually a little bit broken. Broken in that they have so many tools they can use and take advantage of. They're very well-rounded and powerful, and they generally don't have any downsides. And they're mounted. I guess that can work against them in certain situations, but not very many. We're not going to be using Garcia any longer, now that we have the option to not use Garcia any longer. Might as well give Calm his basic kit here, just in case. This next mission is going to be interesting. You guys are going to be seeing some things that you have not seen before. And I think some of you might be excited about it, some of you might know what's coming up, that's entirely possible. We'll give Gilliam a pure water just for the sake of it. Alright, so let's get going, shall we? We got everybody kitted out, I think, unless I'm missing something. Let me double check. No, it doesn't look like it. I think we're good to go. Alright, let me just give it a ahead and save real quick. Alright, so moving on to Chapter 4, Ancient Horrors. This will take place in the Zaha Woods, I believe, is what it's called. So Erica got her bracelet back, which is important, because we tracked down the dude that stole it, and he actually did end up joining us. Yep, the Forest of Zaha. Zaha, I don't know. This is very close to the border of Renee and Grotto. And what in the heck are those things? Never before seen terrors crawl in the shadows of the trees. Oh yes, very much so. And here we are, Ancient Horrors. Some of you might be reading through the mild foreshadowing here and figure out what's coming, and it is very unique in a lot of ways, but we'll get there when we get there. That's assuming we can cross the border without mishap. You are very much... Oh, that's a lot of things. What are they? Are they human? No. Well, I guess maybe at one point they were, some of them. Here we have 2 new people. How can these abominations walk our lands while the sacred stones protect us? So the person on the left is Lute. She is she's a mage, but she's also... if you've played Awakening, she's very similar to Muriel in that she's like an intellectual progeny, and you can see prodigy. And you see here she's quoting a book by chapter and section and paragraph, describing what these things are. Duh, I'm a prodigy. She's a little bit self-centered and egotistical, but she is very talented, so I guess that's important. Revenants attack using razor-sharp claws. Yeah, that does sound bad. The gentleman she is talking to is Artur. He is a monk, much in the same vein as Lucius from Blazing Sword. In fact, he's very similar stat-wise, too. You'll see in a second. So Lute's going to stay here in the village. She's like, yeah, magic's super strong, and it wrecks all the monsters. Only magic is worthy of me. Very interesting. And here comes Arthur right now. Forest is dangerous. Head south and pass through before the fiends surround you. No, he's not Arthur. He's Artur. There's no H in there. I don't know why they just left that out, but anyway. So he's been tasked by the local temple to cleanse all of these disgusting monsters, but he's not sure if he's capable of doing it by himself. The very same. This place is filled with them. Something approaches. That thing's creepy. Here we get a little interlude of Arthur engaging a creepy floating eyeball thing that he crits to death, which is cool. He uses light magic, and light magic has a pretty decent crit rate. Yes, we must help him. But of course, oh, and here we go. So you notice, or you remember rather, that I got Ross to level 10 as a journeyman last chapter, which means he will automatically now promote to a base class of my choosing. Not strictly of my choosing, he only has 2 choices, but I get to pick which one. So here we have the choice of either an axe fighter, just like his dad Garcia, or a pirate. And as I mentioned previously, there's generally no reason not to go pirate. Fighter doesn't really offer anything that the pirate does not. They both have very high strength, both have very high HP growth. The pirate tends to be a bit faster. The fighter could be argued has slightly more defenses, but really neither of them is all that good. And the pirate can walk over water and mountain peaks and whatnot, and yeah, they're just better. So we're going to make Ross a pirate. He ascends from a level 10 journeyman to a level 1 pirate. So it's like he's starting over, all over again, but his level 1 stats are going to be pretty nice. 10 strength, 6 speed, 7 defense is pretty darn great for a level 1 unit, if I dare say so myself. His speed is not anywhere near quite where I would like it to be, if I'm being totally honest. He's still a little bit on the slow side. However, 7 defense is pretty nice. That will allow him to take several hits and act as something of a off-tank when Gilliam can't be around. A con of 10 is okay. That will allow him to wield iron axes without penalty. However, he is still slowed down by his hand axe, but not his hatchet. So, pretty good. 10 strength, 7 skill, 6 speed, not too bad. I'm happy with how he turned out. Again, I would have preferred to be a little faster, but you can't have everything you want. So we will not be bringing Garcia, as I said. I don't believe there's anything to steal on this map. Don't quote me on that. In fact, why don't we look real quick? You see, we already have battle preparations, too. So these are Revenants, these zombie-looking dudes, and that's exactly what they are. They're zombies. They're garbage. You see, they have nothing stat-wise except for a couple of points of strength. These are one of several different classifications of monster units, and monster units are only seen, actually, in a couple of games. This, I believe, was the first time they were ever introduced. That might not be true. I think they might be in the original Gaiden as well. I know for a fact they are in Echoes, which is a remake of Gaiden, so if they are in the original Gaiden, I apologize. I've never played it. That's one of the couple that I've never tried, so I don't know if they were in the original or not, but I know they're in the remake. So Revenants are just shambling zombies. They attack with sharpened claws. They're decently powerful in terms of attacking, but they're brutally slow. They have no defense. They're just walking meat bags. They take very little effort to kill. On higher levels, they just have a lot of hit. They're just meat shields. They have lots of hit points, but they're so slow it doesn't matter. Everybody will double them unless they're Gilliam, of course. He doesn't quite have the ability to do that just yet. And also, monster units do have promoted versions of themselves, but we will not be seeing those for some time yet. So those are Revenants. They're slow. They're meat shields. No big deal. These, however, are Bone Walkers. They're skeletons, straight up, and they wield typical weapons. I believe they're capable of wielding. Yep, they're capable of wielding swords and lances, much like a cavalier, but they are not mounted. They are foot soldiers. They have randomly generated equipment for the most part. Well, not during the story, but when you fight them in skirmishes, they'll have randomly generated equipment. Sometimes they'll even drop it. But you see, they're pretty balanced around the board. They've got reasonable strength, skill, speed, defense. No luck, though. I don't think any monster ever in any context in this game has any luck whatsoever. They're reasonably threatening. No big deal. And finally, we have that eyeball thing you saw in that interlude a moment ago. We have Moguls. And Moguls are effectively dark magic casters. You'll see they have a C rank in dark magic. And this Evil Eye is effectively an infinite use Dark Tome. 7 might, not terribly threatening, but they act as entry-level dark mages, effectively. You'll see they're also rather frail, not particularly powerful or anything. They go down pretty easily, so... we are fighting, by far, the least threatening sets of monsters here. There are quite a few of them, as you can see. Oh, and actually, the boss... You notice he looks a little bit different from these Revenants. That is because he's a promoted Revenant. This is an Entombed. So, Entombed are exactly the same as their Revenant underkin. You see that he does have actually 1 point of speed. They're a little more powerful. They also tend to wield stronger weapons. This is a Fetid Claw. This is a bit stronger than the Rotten Claw. An attack of 15 total this guy has, which is pretty bad. Or pretty good, actually, I should say. The Rotten Claws are pretty weak by comparison. The thing with Entombed, and they are a unique in this game, they are still a monster class. However, even when... This one is a boss, so he gives boss level experience points. However, Entombed, even when they're not a boss, give boss experience. And in fact, generally speaking, when you kill an Entombed and you're not promoted yourself, you will get a full level out of killing an Entombed. And in some cases, you get a full level out of killing an Entombed even when you are promoted. Up until, like, higher levels of promoted class, I believe. So, if you're hurting for experience and want to level someone up quickly, killing Entombed is a great way to do that. That being said, you don't generally run into too many of them. This one just happens to be the boss of this level. We will run into more later, but this, for now, is the only one we're going to find. So, whoever kills him will get a guaranteed full level out of it, which is pretty nice. And then you see we have one village here and another one up here, and then there's this little rocky outcropping that we can't do anything with, so what's the point? And I believe it's just a simple route all the enemy mission. We're nothing fancy, just kill all these creepy monster dudes. I guess we could bring Calm to get some combat experience on him. There's nothing to steal. Monsters generally don't have anything to worry about stealing. If they have anything that's not their weapons, they will usually drop it. So I wouldn't mind bringing him for some extra experience. This is not a challenging level, so we really don't need to bring Seth. So why don't we leave him behind and bring Calm with us instead? And then we'll just kind of position people who need the experience more over... You know, Vanessa doesn't have any level ups yet. We need to get her some. Ross is not our highest priority. He's already gone through quite a bit of growth, so we're not too worried about him. Archer is now automatically on our side, by the way. You'll see he starts with E rank in light magic, and he's Lucius, straight up. He's almost exactly the same. Very high magic, very high speed, very high resistance, but his luck and defense are abysmal. And they generally won't go up very much higher than that. So if you're used to Lucius, Archer is basically Lucius 2.0. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded than Lucius, not quite so min-maxed and weighted to one side stat-wise, but at any rate. So a lot of the characters you're seeing so far are basically just repeated tropes of existing ones that you've already seen. And that trend does continue from game to game in a lot of respects. A lot of the newer ones tend to break those molds. But when it comes to similarity between characters and their stat distributions, their stat growths between Blazing Sword and Sacred Stones, there are quite a few similarities. So moving on, Archer's level 2 already. Vanessa, however, really needs some experience, so why don't we send her over here to start laying some hurt. She can't quite kill this guy in one round, but I bet if we soften him up with Archer, that will change. As long as he doesn't crit. Oh jeez, I didn't turn his animations on. I told myself I was going to get better about that, and apparently I didn't, so... Oh yeah, we don't want Olders on, that's why we turned him off in the first place. Alright, so Archer softened that guy up, we'll just have Vanessa finish him off. With her Slim Lance, no big deal. Revenants, regrettably do not give anywhere near as much experience as their Entombed promoted versions. In fact, they're just generic enemies for the most part, but, you know, they're still free experience nonetheless. I'll be very surprised if this guy manages to land a hit on Calm, but... Oh, wow, he missed. Oh, that guy's on a peak, that's why. Or a mountain hill, rather. You can see the sloped ground behind him there. So he's got a bit of an avoidance boost. But Calm gets a level anyway. Not a good level. That's actually an abysmal level, by all stretch. We'll have Ross handle this particular fellow over here. Might not even hit him, but that's alright. We're just going to soften him up a little bit. And because Ross is still plenty slow, he's not going to be doubling anybody anytime soon. Although he's only 1 point off from doubling that guy. We'll send in Sir Gilliam because I want to get him to a point where he can start doubling. Just enough, at any rate, if at all possible. Nami could use some experience, too. She's still very much fresh, so... I don't want to get Mulder in the way of anything bad, so we'll park him right about here. And then we'll have Franz on station to act as a decoy if needed. He's doing alright. I'm happy with how he's turned out so far. I would have preferred a little more speed, but, you know, you take what you can get. And Gilliam will have absolutely no issues taking care of these guys, since they are incapable of damaging him anyway. And he can just kind of take his time. You see that zombie animation with them crawling over to attack. They're incredibly slow, and watching a lot of them attack in sequence is actually very tedious and annoying. Oh wow, a crit. Look at that, 2% crit. You know what? I will take it. And that helps him make up for the miss he had last turn, so... Loot is in that village down to the south, so if we visit that, we will get her. And she's quite good. I'll talk more about her when we get her, but I like using Loot quite a bit. This Mogul is not going to be too much of a threat to Vanessa. She's actually got resistance on our team, unlike most everybody else. And again, Moguls really aren't all that threatening, to be truth be told. Yeah, she takes a bit of damage, but she'll be alright. So, like I said, I think this is one of the only games that has monsters in it. Like I said, Echoes has them. They are briefly in Awakening, but they're not very common, and there's only like one type. Like, there's Entombed in Awakening, and you use them to grind for XP in one of the DLC levels. I don't think they actually make a showing in the game proper. Maybe they do in a couple levels. It's been a long time since I played Awakening, so don't quote me on that, but they're not very common to fight. That being said, I do think it's a little more enjoyable to fight monsters than it is to fight actual other, like, human soldiers. It just, for some reason, it just feels better murdering monstrosities as opposed to murdering actual people. Maybe that's because I'm some kind of self-righteous person, but at any rate, not self-righteous. I like to think I'm a decent person. I think I've talked about that before, but anyway. It just feels better to be cleansing the earth of these monstrosities than killing people who are presumably just doing their job. Can she serve a hit from both of them? Probably not. He's got 9 attack, he's got 11. Yeah, no, she cannot take a hit from both. She would die. So why don't we put Franz in the way of that Bone Walker, and he will utterly murder this thing. Holy smokes, Franz. Tell you what, why don't we put Archer in the way? He can take at least one hit from a melee unit, I think, and not succumb to immediate painful death. And he is fast enough to not get doubled. Oh, he's going to crit anyway. Man, tell you what, people who harp on light magic not being good enough or not being good compared to dark or anima, but it's considering the ridiculous crit rates you get sometimes, I think those people are crazy who don't think it's very good. We'll park Vanessa here to guard Nami from getting hit. I might go pick up Archer just because I don't want him ruining all of my experience. Actually, I can't pick him up because there's a tree in my way. So Cavaliers move very fast, but they pay more movement points to go through forests than most other units. I think a typical unit requires 2 movement points to go into a forest. A Cavalier actually requires 3. You'll see if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is not enough to get in here. I would need 8 to move into that forest. Even if I go around it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, still not enough. So Cavaliers have a hard time getting through woods, as opposed to most other units. But you know what? That's one of the few downsides they have. They can move very fast on open terrain. They're slowed down by most everything, but that's all right. On open plains, cavalry are unbeatable, and that has a lot of real life truth to it as well. If you meet cavalry in an open field, you're pretty much hosed unless you also have mounts of your own. And Calm can't quite handle this guy. Maybe if I whip a hatchet at him first. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I'm going to use Ross to help soften up these people for my lower level units so they can get kills. And we'll finish him off with Calm. I was hoping he might get... he's level 3 already. He's not going to get that much experience, I guess. We'll send Franz on here to knock this tree over so that we can make our way over to where loot is. And we'll just keep Erica. You know what? I'll have her visit the village. It's a good idea. Why, yes, I already hit it once. It would make a handy bridge. No, really? What's he going to give me? Oh, an iron axe. Look at that. How convenient. I've already got a few of those. That's alright. Thankfully, we can kind of bottleneck all those revenants, too, in that little bridge, so they're really not going to be all that threatening, ultimately. Archer will kill this guy, assuming he doubles him, which he does. Probably barely does, too. I bet you that guy only had 2 speed. These other two are not going to be... What is that? Oh my god, it's my favorite. I'm not going to ruin this right now, because we're going to be seeing these people again, but... Here we have this chick, and this... I swear, I thought this guy was a dwarf when I first saw him. Like the old, you know, the gruff, Scottish, burly, bearded dwarf. He's not. He's just short, apparently, and just has a lot of facial hair. Lady La Rochelle is what he called her. That is who that is. Yeah, well, that's a good point. So, you just saw a glimpse of Lady La Rochelle there. She is probably my favorite character in this game, and that's for a number of reasons, but we will go into that when we see her next. There's no point in talking about right now when we just saw her for a couple of seconds, but... Alright, so let's move on. Let's take out some more Revenant with Gilliam here, or at least soak up some more Revenant with Gilliam. And he can literally just stand on this bridge and choke the point and prevent anybody from even getting past him. And we can just spam range attacks with Namie and pick off all these guys. Or with Franz if we need to. Let's have Calm knock over this tree. And I'll have... See, I can move onto the river too with Ross, which is nice. There's a lot of units that would not be capable of doing that otherwise. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to hit, but that's alright. So being a pirate gives you a lot of versatility in terms of movement options that other units just don't have the ability to do. Man, Franz is already a beast. Utterly murders this thing. You know what? Let's let him have some experience. Why not? I'll give him a... Oh, wow, he missed. And I bet you any money that he's going to go for Ross next turn because he's got triangle advantage on him. But that's okay, too. Let's get Molder down here to heal up some peeps. I do want to get him as much experience as I can because leveling up priests and clerics early on is a big pain, as you've seen, because they only get 11 experience points per heal. It takes them a long time to get up to a level where they can, you know, where they're promoted enough that they can actually hold their own. Namie's actually quite fast for an archer, which is nice. I believe I did mention she's Rebecca 2.0, so she actually will typically double these Revenants a lot of the time with 6 speed. I don't think she's quite strong enough to be able to one-round them, but we'll have Archer clean this guy up. And I think Vanessa can handle the last one on her own without any intervention for me, and that will give Archer a level up. Ugh, man. Level ups have not been good so far this level, have they, ladies and gentlemen? And we'll park Vanessa right here, as I said. She's full health, she's fine. And we'll have her deal with that Bone Walker over there. Gilliam, the Wall of Frelia here. Have I mentioned how much I love his color scheme? That color is just so cool on him. I'm a big fan of Gilliam. I'm pretty sure I said that already, but you know what? Wow, he's actually going for Franz. I expected him to go for Ross. That was kind of silly. Just when you think you understand how the AI functions in this game, they pull up and do stupid stuff like that. But maybe I don't know everything about this game, as much as I would like to pretend that I do. And she should be able to mop him up with an Iron Lance hit. Oh, come on. Really? That's baloney. Oh, look, more reinforcements. That's fine. I would like to have some more things to kill. Why don't we go for the Javelin? That way the Mogul will attack her as well, and then she'll retaliate. Probably won't double, because that Javelin weighs her down by an absolute fart ton. Ooh, strength, speed, nice. Resistance, luck, that's pretty good. Whenever Vanessa gets strength, I'm okay with that, because she tends to have an issue with that starting out. She is not like Florina from Blazing Sword, who had more strength than half my army at one point. sadly enough. I mean, I guess she could be, but she generally will not turn out quite that good. We are going to soften up that Bone Walker with Ross here. And I'll send Franz in front of the... whatchamacallit here? The village. And Mulder needs to get over here to heal some people. But in the meantime, let's lay down some more hurt. Why don't we let Nami do this one, actually? That'll get her a level, I believe. Yep. And if she could get strength also, that'd be pretty awesome. Or just, you know, luck and resistance. That's alright, I guess. I've had better days of levels, I'm not gonna lie. I could throw a javelin at that guy, or could just let him come after me. It's probably the easier idea. Let's just do that. And we'll get Archer over here to where he's not gonna die immediately. I might let Eric mop up a couple of those Revenants, since she's not really doing anything else. Oh, you silly, silly dead people. Going after Franz, the monster. And he crits completely unnecessarily, but you know what? Unnecessary crits are always fun. Everyone loves unnecessary crits, right? And of course, we have the wall here just absorbing everything. Some of the other monster units we're going to see later on are quite a bit more menacing than these handful that you've seen so far. I don't want to ruin it, but there's got to be at least 8 or 9 different kinds of monsters. Might even be more than that. I'm trying to think of them all right now. On top of my head, I'm having a hard time. There might even be closer to like 10 or 11. I know some of them are like endgame tier and basically count as bosses, so we won't be seeing them for quite some time. But they are not nice, needless to say. And whip that javelin at his face. Oh, she does double it. Nice! Must be just fast enough. She did get a speed bonus increase with her last level up, so that might be what's contributing to that. Alright, so those guys are both dead. That doesn't leave a lot for loot to kill when I recruit her right now. Your flesh shows no signs of putrefaction. I had no idea what that word meant when I first saw it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she's like uber-duber smart and uses really big words. Gotcha. My vocabulary has since improved. So we have Lute. She's a female mage, so she uses the same sprite that Nino used from Blazing Sword. She's actually very similar to Nino in a lot of respects, but it's like if we got Nino a lot earlier and she came at level 1 instead of level 5. And she still has C in tomes, by the way, which is outrageous. But she has incredibly high magic growth. She's effectively a glass cannon. Really high magic, really high speed. Her skill is actually a little under on the underside as far as growth rate. It's not all that great, but she doesn't really need very much. Her defense is also pitiful, but her luck and resistance are also quite good. The only issue with her is her con is 3, which is, I think, the smallest in the game, and she's weighed down by a generic fire tome by 1 point. So that speed is actually effectively only going to be 6 until she has a chance to promote, which is going to be quite some time. I intend to get quite a bit of use out of her, though, because having a really powerful anima mage is just too good. Mages in this game are particularly good because the monsters, with a couple of exceptions, have pathetic resistance. So unleashing fireballs on these monsters is a really great way to mop up lots of them very quickly. Let's let Nami have the kill on this guy. No, let's let Vanessa do it. I want her to get some more level ups. Having a good Pegasus Knight early on is invaluable, as you no doubt saw with Florina. So even if she only wounds that other Revenant down here, she will get a level up out of him, and that's fine. And we'll stick Gilliam out here to soak up all of these guys' attacks, I think. That seems a reasonable plan. Move everybody else up and out of the way. I'm probably going to let Lute have the boss kill, just because she's only level 1 and she needs to catch up to the rest of the party. And that's a guaranteed level for her. It might even be a couple if I stage it out properly, but I don't want to abuse the experience too much. Yeah, we're going to let Gilliam mop up the rest of these guys. Hopefully he'll get at least 1 level out of them, that'd be nice. Oh, for sure. Even if he only needs to hit 1 and then he's good. In that case, why don't I leave somebody with him to get a couple extra points? So she won't kill this guy unless she crits. But that's alright. I only need her to hit him to get her level up. There we are. Give me some more strength, girl. That'd be awesome. Oh, that's alright. Oh, defense. There we go. Skill and defense. I'll take that. Never a bad thing to have more defense in your Pegasi either. So, let's let... Erica can kill this guy, right? Oh yeah, for sure. That's fine. We get her to like level 6, I think. I wouldn't mind some more strength on her either, if I'm being totally honest. 5 is not a lot. Continues to not be a lot, although speed I'm okay with. That's kind of her forte anyway. She needs to get as much of that as she can, so... this boss does move, if I'm not mistaken, too. So if we put someone in his range, he will go after them. And let's put Calm in the range, because he's not gonna hit him. There's no way. Especially if he's on a forest, and then we can let Loot mop him up the turn after that. Yeah, this is a route map, for sure. So, nobody over here is hurt. Why don't we have Namie come over here and help Gilliam out with killing these guys? That seems a sensible plan. These Revenants only move 4, by the way, which is pathetic. And we'll put Namie right here, and Vanessa will be around in case someone needs healing, I guess. We need to get Mulder down to Archer, because he's rather hurt. For some reason, that one on the trailing end does not attack unless attacked, and I don't understand why that is. I think it's some kind of AI glitch or something. It's just that last one. The other 3 are going to hit me just fine. Level 6. Hey, a point of speed. Perfect. Now he can actually he's going to double the rest of these guys. Because they have no speed. Unless one of them has, for some reason, 1 point as a result of a lucky auto level, then he will not. But otherwise, yeah, he's going to double. When you see them pause for a moment after doing their first attack, it means they're going to do it again. It's a general pretty... Oh, geez, I forgot he was in range of her. That's not cool. That's alright, she'll be fine. She can take a hit from that. If that had been Archer, I might have been a little more worried, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah, this guy has, what, 27% damage? Percent chance to hit, rather. There's no way. You see, they're also gross and sickly green with purple. They look like they're like, you know, a gross and shriveled undead Hulk with their green skin and purple pants. It's a shame, actually, because Calm is really close to leveling. You know what I could do? No, he's too far away, so we're not gonna bother. We're gonna let Namie kill this guy. Get some extra XP for her. And then who else could use some? Like I said, we're just gonna let Loot nuke the boss here and get a free level out of it. Oh, jeez, I didn't turn animations on. I'm really bad about that. I'm so sorry. Yeah, look at that. Free level, completely full. Magic, speed, luck, exactly what you would expect for her to grow. Again, that's not a problem at all, because if her being a master of those stats is perfectly acceptable in my opinion. We might let Calm have a hit on these guys if he can afford it. So we'll let Gilliam smack this guy around. The guy that wouldn't attack me. Oh, and he crits! Night crits are really cool. I like them quite a bit. And I'm not upset when I get them. And this guy, if he's not stupid, although he's a walking, shambling pile of bones and flesh, he might be stupid, but he should go for Calm, and assuming he does, Calm will level up from it. Let's heal up Archer for no reason, other than that we should, for experience. I think everybody else is doing alright. Namie could use a heal, but she'll be alright. Alright, as soon as that last Revenant's dead, we are outie. Yep, that's what I thought. Here we go. And that'll put Calm to level 4, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty good level for a thief. You tend to try to get thief kills wherever you can, because they will have a hard time with combat later on in the game. Especially when they don't increase their strength or skill. At least he's getting speed. We've killed all the monsters. Well, we best burn the bones. Seth is a smart man. He understands. Yes, they are the weakest of the dark creatures. I don't know about them being able to outmatch any normal man. As we saw, they're actually rather pathetic. Revenants in the Entombed. Let's see, there's the Bonewalkers, Moth Doogs, Gargoyles, Bales. Well, there's a couple that just got spoiled, but you don't know what they are yet, I guess. I'll bet you just about any creature of lore could be walking again. We're in for some trouble. I guess gargoyle's pretty self-explanatory if you know anything about mythological creatures. Even my power may not be enough, she says. Perhaps we should regroup, because, yeah, there's crazy monsters in addition to an evil army attacking us. But, yeah, she's worried about Ephraim, so we should go find him. Please try to understand. Yeah, of course, he understands. He's just doing his job. Oh, here's La Rochelle again. Foul creatures, beware! I, La Rochelle, bestow upon you the honor of banishment! La Rochelle is amazing. Her hair is really cool, too. I like her hair color. It's like this lime green. You don't see that very often. It's a real shame, isn't it? And his other two chumps that run around with her, by the way. We'll talk about them later, too. It is I, the true light and glory of the sacred realm of Rouston, which she just totally gave away. But then he comes in and is like, no! Don't tell anybody who you are! That's dumb! She's like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. I must ride off in anonymity. How beautifully romantic, even though she literally just told us her name and where she's from. Dazla and Rennick are the people she rides with. That's Dazla, the bearded dwarf guy there, and Rennick is the other guy. We will be seeing more of them, I promise, just not right now. That being said, speaking of not right now, we're going to get into the next chapter in the next episode. So thank you all very much for sticking with me up to this point. I really do appreciate it. We're going to get on to Chapter 5 in the next episode and run into more things to fight and potentially kill, probably. Will it be monsters? I don't know. You'll have to find out. Tune in. Until then, thank you all very much. As I said, this has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.